I'm Anya Petrova, 30, a fashion designer in New York. After 10 years dedicated to Atelier Thorn, I was fired by Chloe Thorn, the boss's daughter and a notorious socialite, for daring to protect my multi-million-dollar Rebirth collection. She shamelessly stole my work, claimed it as her own, and basked in the spotlight. They thought I was defeated when Chloe smugly took all the glory. But a shocking twist. Phoenix, an investor Chloe had once conned, provided bombshell evidence. He had everything: emails, timestamped design drafts, along with testimonies from my colleagues, Leo and Maria. I discovered Chloe was a serial fraudster, having stolen ideas from other designers, including Isabella. Now, with Phoenix, Leo, Maria, Isabella, and even Bella, Chloe's former assistant, I'm fully armed. Despite their smear campaigns, I'm determined to stage a secret show to expose Chloe. This isn't just a fight for personal justice, it's a battle for artistic integrity. What would you do when pushed to the brink? Follow along to see how I'll bring down that empire of deceit. The fluorescent lights of the Atelier Thorn hummed a familiar, almost comforting tune. Anya Petrova, at 30, had spent nearly a decade under their harsh glow, translating dreams into fabric and thread. Her fingers, calloused from countless hours of pinning and stitching, moved with a practiced grace over a swatch of raw silk. This collection, her latest, was a culmination of sleepless nights and relentless passion, a fusion of minimalist elegance and bold, architectural lines, inspired by the brutalist beauty of New York's forgotten corners. It was her soul poured onto the mannequin. Beside her, sketching intently on a digital tablet, was Leo, Anya's lead assistant, a 24-year-old with a punk rock aesthetic and an uncanny knack for textile innovation. Anya, what do you think of integrating this recycled denim into the trench coats? It could add a raw, urban edge to the concrete bloom concept. Anya leaned over, a faint smile touching her lips. Interesting, Leo. Show me a render. We need to be careful not to dilute the elegance, but that texture, it has potential. It speaks to the collection's core message: finding beauty in unexpected places, resilience. Across the studio, Maria, the seasoned head pattern maker, a woman in her late 50s with a no-nonsense demeanor and eyes that could spot a millimeter flaw from across the room, meticulously adjusted a muslin toile. Anya, the drape on this asymmetric gown is finally perfect. It flows like liquid metal. You're a genius, child. You're the true genius, Maria, for bringing it to life, Anya replied, a genuine warmth in her voice. Maria had been her rock, a mentor and a friend, ever since Anya joined Thorn as a wide-eyed intern. Anya, a moment? The voice, crisp and edged with an unfamiliar authority, sliced through the quiet hum. Anya looked up to see Mr. Thorn, the stoic founder of the fashion house, standing at the entrance of her private studio. Beside him, a vision in perfectly tailored tweed and an air of entitled confidence, stood Chloe Thorn, his daughter. Chloe, the Instagram darling, the socialite with 1 million followers, whose only discernible talent seemed to be effortlessly existing in front of a camera. And now, Anya knew her new creative director. A cold dread coiled in Anya's stomach. The rumors had been swirling for weeks. Mr. Thorn was stepping back, and Chloe, despite her complete lack of design experience, was taking the reins. It felt like a slap in the face to every designer who had toiled for years, perfecting their craft, living and breathing fashion. Anya, Leo, Maria, Mr. Thorn began, his gaze unreadable. He looked tired, older than his 70 years. Chloe will be overseeing all creative endeavors moving forward. She has fresh ideas, a finger on the pulse of the youth market. Chloe offered Anya a dazzling, yet utterly empty smile. So excited to work with you all. I've heard great things about your attention to detail, Anya. The thinly veiled condescension wasn't lost on Anya or Maria, whose lips tightened almost imperceptibly. Leo, usually quick with a sarcastic remark, merely looked from Chloe to Anya, a flicker of concern in his eyes. Thank you, Mr. Thorn, Anya replied, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Congratulations, Chloe. The following days were a slow-motion nightmare. Chloe, with her entourage of stylists, photographers, and social media managers, swept through the atelier like a hurricane. Among them was Damon, Chloe's publicist, a man whose slicked-back hair and perpetually smirking face seemed to embody everything superficial about the industry. And Bella, Chloe's personal assistant, whose nervous glances and tightly clasped hands suggested she knew more than she let on. Meetings that once focused on fabric sourcing and pattern cutting were now dominated by discussions of viral potential and influencer outreach. Anya, the actual designer, found herself increasingly marginalized. Leo and Maria exchanged worried glances, their frustration growing with each nonsensical directive from Chloe. "We need more glitter," Chloe declared in one meeting, dismissing Maria's carefully constructed color palette. "And less beige. Beige is boring. My followers want sparkle." Maria, usually unflappable, bristled. "Miss Thorne, the collection's concept, concrete bloom, relies on a subtle, sophisticated palette to highlight the intricate textures and architectural forms. Glitter would detract." "Oh, Maria, honey, it's my concept now," Chloe said, dismissing her with a wave of her hand. "And my followers are craving maximalism. Anya, you agree, right? My vision, your expertise?" Anya bit back a sharp retort. "The integrity of the design is paramount, Chloe. Deviate too far, it risks becoming incoherent." Chloe just laughed. "Incoherent? Darling, in fashion, it's called pushing boundaries. Now, about that budget for the influencer party?" Then came the demand. "Anya, darling, could you bring all your sketches for the upcoming collection to my office?" Chloe purred, lounging on a velvet chaise in her newly redecorated, impossibly chic office. Damon stood nearby, scrolling dismissively on his phone. Bella hovered nervously by the door. "I just want to align our visions, make sure everything is cohesive under my new direction." Anya felt a prickle of unease. "My sketches are still in development, Chloe. They're not ready for a full review." "Oh, don't be coy," Chloe waved a perfectly manicured hand. "It's fine, I just need to get a feel for the overall aesthetic. Don't worry, I'm excellent at getting a feel." Her eyes, cold and calculating despite the sweet smile, lingered on Anya. "And I'll need the digital files too, of course. For archival purposes." Anya's gut screamed. She had poured years into understanding the intricacies of copyright, the importance of protecting her intellectual property. Her designs were her legacy, her blood, sweat, and tears. To hand them over, unguarded, to someone like Chloe felt like willingly offering a lamb to a wolf. "I'm sorry, Chloe," Anya said, her voice firmer than she expected. "My contracts stipulate that my designs remain my intellectual property until they are officially launched under the Thorne label. Even then, my name is always credited." Chloe's smile faltered, replaced by a flicker of irritation. Damon finally looked up from his phone, a predatory gleam in his eyes. "Oh, please, don't be so melodramatic. It's just paperwork. We're a team now, Anya. My vision, your execution. It's a synergy." "It's my work," Anya countered, a steel entering her voice. "And I cannot simply hand over unreleased designs without proper protocols." The air in the room turned arctic. Chloe rose from the chaise, her eyes narrowing. "Let me be very clear, Anya. As the creative director, I require those designs. Your refusal is insubordination. And my compliance is a violation of my contract and my rights," Anya shot back, her heart pounding. Chloe stared at her, a silent battle raging between them. Damon watched, a smirk playing on his lips. Bella shrank further into the corner. Finally, Chloe's lips curled into a disdainful smirk. "Fine, have it your way, Anya, but don't expect to work in this industry for long without a good reference." The next morning, Anya received an email. It was short, to the point, and devoid of any personal touch. Effective immediately, Anya Petrova's employment with Atelier Thorne was terminated due to irreconcilable differences in creative direction. Anya read the words, numb. It had happened. She had been fired for daring to stand up for herself for her art. She walked into the studio where Leo and Maria were already at their stations, a palpable tension in the air. "They fired me," Anya said, her voice flat. Leo's tablet clattered to the floor. "What? Are you serious? For what?" "Creative differences," Anya scoffed, a bitter laugh escaping her. "Because I wouldn't hand over my designs." Maria rushed forward, her face etched with disbelief. "But Anya, you're the heart of this atelier. Who will design the collection? Who will protect your vision?" "Chloe will find someone," Anya said, already gathering her few personal belongings. "Or she'll claim she is the vision." She looked at Maria, then at Leo. "Please, both of you, be careful, protect yourselves." Maria grasped Anya's hand. "This isn't right. Mr. Thorne knows your value. He wouldn't let this stand." "Mr. Thorne is gone, Maria," Anya replied, her voice filled with a resignation she hated. "Chloe is in charge now. And she has powerful people backing her." As Anya walked out, past the whispered glances and averted eyes of her other colleagues, she felt a burning mix of anger and despair. 11 years. Gone. The hum of the fluorescent lights now mocked her. The fashion world moves fast, a relentless carousel of trends and triumphs. Anya, once a rising star, felt herself being left behind. She spent weeks sending out resumes, attending networking events, but the doors remained stubbornly shut. The unspoken word was out. Anya Petrova was difficult, uncompromising, a troublemaker. The industry, often fueled by nepotism and superficiality, had no patience for such traits. Her phone, once buzzing with calls and texts from industry contacts, now rang only with collection agencies. Then, 3 months after her dismissal, the news broke. Atelier Thorn was launching its groundbreaking new collection, Rebirth. The face of the campaign was, of course, Chloe Thorn, plastered across billboards and magazine covers, radiant and confident. The designs, showcased in a dazzling show during New York Fashion Week, were hailed as a bold new direction for the brand, a fusion of edgy modernism and classic elegance. Anya watched the live stream from her cramped apartment, a cold knot forming in her stomach. Her breath hitched. Her heart hammered against her ribs. The opening look, a structured blazer dress with asymmetric cuts and hand-embroidered metallic threads, was unmistakably hers, the very design she had refused to hand over to Chloe. Leo called her, his voice hoarse with fury. "Anya, she did it. She actually did it. That blazer, it's yours, word for word, stitch for stitch. And the concrete bloom theme, she's calling it urban metamorphosis. It's a total ripoff." "I know, Leo," Anya whispered, tears blurring her vision. "I'm watching." Maria called shortly after, her voice tight with suppressed rage. "Child, I wanted to walk out right then and there. Every seam, every detail, it was your hand, your mind. And that charlatan taking all the credit." One by one, the models paraded down the runway, each garment a dagger to Anya's heart. The sleek silhouettes, the unexpected pops of color against muted tones, the intricate details she had spent months perfecting, they were all there. Her vision, her soul, stolen. Chloe, beaming, took her final bow, accepting the thunderous applause and effusive praise. Damon stood by her side, a triumphant smirk on his face, orchestrating the media frenzy. "This collection," Chloe declared into the microphone, her voice dripping with false humility, "is a testament to the new spirit of Atelier Thorn. It's about breaking boundaries, about authentic expression." Authentic expression. The irony was a bitter taste in Anya's mouth. She clutched her head, the despair washing over her. How could she fight this? Chloe had the power, the money, the platform. Anya had nothing but her word and a folder full of digital files that could easily be dismissed as imitations. She was a ghost, haunting her own creation. Days bled into weeks. The Rebirth collection was a phenomenal success, selling out online and in stores. Chloe Thorn was lauded as a visionary, the new darling of the fashion world. Anya, meanwhile, was sinking deeper into obscurity, her savings dwindling, her hope fading. She saw her designs everywhere, in glossy magazines, on social media feeds, on influencers Chloe now claimed as friends. Each sighting felt like a fresh wound. One dreary afternoon, a nondescript email landed in Anya's spam folder. The subject line read, "Regarding Atelier Thorn." She almost deleted it, accustomed to the endless stream of job rejections and promotional offers. But something made her click. The email was from a burner account, untraceable. The message was brief. "I believe you are familiar with the work of Chloe Thorn. I have reason to believe she is not the sole creative force behind her acclaimed collection. I have information that might interest you. Meet me at the Blue Door Cafe Tuesday, 3 p.m. Come alone. Ask for Phoenix." Anya's heart leapt. This was either a cruel prank or a miracle. The name Phoenix resonated with a strange, almost mythical quality. She had nothing left to lose. The Blue Door Cafe was a quaint little spot in a quiet corner of Greenwich Village, its namesake door painted a vibrant, almost defiant, cobalt. Anya arrived precisely at 3 p.m., her nerves a jumble of fear and anticipation. A man sat alone at a corner table, his back to the door, nursing a cup of tea. He was impeccably dressed in a tailored charcoal suit, his silver hair neatly combed. As Anya approached, he looked up, his eyes a startling shade of intelligent blue. "Phoenix?" Anya asked, her voice barely a whisper. He offered a slight, knowing smile. "Anya Petrova, I presume. Please sit." Anya sat, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. "Who are you?" "My name is Arthur Sterling," he replied, his voice calm and measured. "And like you, I have an interest in seeing Chloe Thorn brought to justice." Anya stared at him, bewildered. "Justice? What do you mean?" Arthur took a sip of his tea. "Let's just say Miss Thorn and I have a history. One involving a rather substantial investment on my part in a venture that turned out to be less than legitimate. She has a talent for taking credit where none is due and profiting from the work of others. She stole my designs, my entire Rebirth collection," Anya burst out, the words tumbling forth. Arthur nodded slowly. "I suspected as much. I've been following her career, her meteoric rise, with a certain degree of skepticism. Her sudden genius felt a little too convenient given her past predilections. and your abrupt departure from Thorn Atelier after years of loyal service raised several red flags. But how can I prove it? Anya asked, the old despair resurfacing. She has everything, I have nothing. Damon, her publicist, is a shark, and Mr. Thorn, he won't listen. Ah, but you have the most important thing, Anya, Arthur said, his eyes twinkling. You have the truth, and I have resources. And a very strong desire for restitution. Over the next few hours, Arthur laid out a plan. He was a retired venture capitalist, a man of immense wealth and influence, who had been burnt by Chloe in a shady tech startup deal years ago. He had spent the intervening time quietly accumulating information, building a dossier on her questionable business practices. He had seen the pattern. Chloe would attach herself to a promising venture, take credit for its innovations, and then abandon it, leaving a trail of exploited talent and empty promises. Her methods are consistent, Arthur explained. She is a master manipulator. She preys on talent, then uses her family's name and her social media empire to whitewash her reputation. But there are always cracks, Anya, always, especially if you know where to look. I also have a contact at a major fashion magazine, Elena Vargas, a veteran journalist who despises the superficiality plaguing the industry. She's looking for a story that truly shakes things up. Anya remembered her meticulous work habits, her digital backups, her time-stamped sketches. I always kept copies, she said, her voice trembling with a renewed sense of purpose. Every iteration, every design choice. I have emails with suppliers, project management records. Arthur's smile widened. Excellent, now tell me everything. From the very beginning, we also need to bring in your former team. Their testimony, their shared experience will be invaluable. Over the next few weeks, Anya worked tirelessly with Arthur's team. A forensic IT specialist, Sarah, meticulously scoured Anya's old hard drives and cloud backups, recovering every version of her designs, each time-stamped and cross-referenced. They found email exchanges with fabric suppliers discussing specific materials for her collection before Chloe even became creative director. They unearthed early mood boards, annotated with Anya's distinct handwriting, outlining the very themes Chloe now claimed as her own. Leo and Maria, once hesitant, quickly joined Anya's cause. They provided detailed accounts of Chloe's erratic behavior, her lack of understanding, and her demands for Anya's creative output. She knew nothing about textiles, Anya, Maria recounted, her voice filled with indignity. She tried to tell me a silk charmeuse was the same as a raw dupioni. It was insulting to our craft. Leo added, she even asked me to Photoshop some of your early sketches to make them look more Chloe. I refused, of course. She just laughed and said, find someone who will. The more they dug, the more damning the evidence became. Anya discovered that Chloe hadn't just stolen her rebirth collection. This was a pattern. Arthur's team uncovered evidence that Chloe had previously collaborated with several up-and-coming designers, only for their work to mysteriously appear under Chloe's name, or for their burgeoning careers to fizzle out while Chloe's star continued to rise. One designer, a talented accessories creator named Isabella, had even lost a major licensing deal after Chloe claimed credit for a best-selling handbag. She's a serial plagiarist, Sarah muttered, shaking her head as she presented a timeline of Chloe's alleged creative output alongside the sudden disappearances of other designers. She leverages her father's influence and her social media reach to silence anyone who dares to speak out. Look at this, an early draft of Isabella's Moonbeam Clutch design sent to Chloe for feedback suddenly appears in a fashion show credited solely to Chloe just weeks later. Isabella, now working as an independent artisan struggling to make ends meet, was contacted by Arthur. She listened to their story, initially skeptical, but then hope, tinged with anger, flared in her eyes. She took everything from me, Isabella whispered, her voice cracking. I poured my heart into that design and she just took it. She smiled to my face and then cut me out. Isabella immediately agreed to join their team, offering her own proof and testimony. Bella, Chloe's nervous assistant, also came forward. She had been observing Chloe's unethical practices for months, silently documenting everything. She made me delete emails, Anya, emails where you sent her your initial concept outlines. She told me to clean up her hard drive before Mr. Thorne came back. I knew something was wrong. Bella handed over a thumb drive, filled with incriminating screenshots and hidden email threads. Her conscience, it seemed, had finally won. The pieces clicked into place, forming a disturbing mosaic of deceit. Chloe was not just a superficial socialite, she was a calculated predator, a thief operating under the cloak of privilege. As the evidence mounted, Chloe, perhaps sensing the walls closing in, began her counterattack. Anonymous posts started appearing on fashion blogs and forums, painting Anya as an unstable, bitter former employee, prone to jealousy and delusions of grandeur. Old, doctored photos of Anya looking disheveled after an all-night design session surfaced, captioned with insinuations about drug use and erratic behavior. A particularly vicious article, clearly planted by Damon, appeared in an online tabloid, accusing Anya of having a problematic past and being difficult to work with, citing anonymous sources who claimed she had a history of making false accusations against superiors. "This is Damon's work," Leo fumed, throwing his phone onto a table. "He's trying to destroy your credibility, Anya. He's a master of disinformation." "She's panicking," Arthur observed, his face grim as he reviewed the smear campaign. "She wants to poison the well before we can even begin to draw water. But remember, Anya, truth has a way of rising to the surface, especially when we help it along." "What if people believe her?" Anya asked, a fresh wave of panic washing over her. "What if all this evidence isn't enough against her influence, against Damon's spin?" "It will be enough," Arthur assured her, his voice unwavering. "Because we won't just present the evidence, we will show them the truth, in a way they cannot ignore. And Elena Vargas is ready to break the story, but she wants to do it simultaneously with our public reveal." A double punch. He then revealed his plan, a secret fashion show. Not just any show, but a carefully orchestrated event designed to be a direct, undeniable confrontation of Chloe's theft. "We will launch your collection," Arthur explained, "the true rebirth. And we will do it in a way that highlights every single detail Chloe stole, side by side with your original vision. We will invite the press, the industry's most influential figures, and all the people Chloe has wronged. Elena will be there, ready to publish." Anya's eyes widened. "A secret show? But how?" "I own a disused warehouse downtown," Arthur said, a glint in his eye. "It's raw, industrial, perfect for a statement. My team, along with Leo, Maria, Isabella, and Bella, will handle logistics, marketing, invitations. You, Anya, will do what you do best, design. We have a limited budget, but we have talent and passion on our side. And we have the truth." Anya felt a spark reignite within her, a long-dormant fire. This wasn't just about reclaiming her designs, it was about reclaiming her identity, her integrity. It was about standing up for every artist who had ever been exploited, every voice that had been silenced by power and privilege. The warehouse on the forgotten industrial edge of Brooklyn was transformed. Arthur's resources, while not limitless, were deployed with surgical precision. A temporary runway was constructed, flanked by raw concrete walls. Industrial lighting was rigged to create a dramatic, almost defiant glow. The invitations, sent discreetly to a carefully curated list of journalists, buyers, and fashion insiders, hinted at a groundbreaking artistic revelation from a long-silenced voice. Elena Vargas personally ensured that her editor at Vogue Elite would have a team present, ready to capture every moment. Anya, fueled by a renewed sense of purpose, worked with her small, dedicated team. Leo, with his keen eye for detail, oversaw the styling and model selection, ensuring each look perfectly conveyed Anya's original intent. Maria, with her decades of experience, supervised the independent seamstresses and pattern makers Arthur had assembled, guaranteeing flawless execution. Isabella designed a breathtaking new line of accessories, each piece a subtle homage to Anya's architectural aesthetic, while also showcasing her own undeniable talent. Bella, now free from Chloe's oppressive grip, handled all the confidential communications and logistics, her newfound confidence shining through. "This feels different, Anya," Leo said one evening as they painstakingly adjusted a hem. "Not just about fashion anymore, is it?" Anya shook her head. "No, Leo, it's about more than that. It's about authenticity, about respect for the craft, and about proving that true talent will always find a way to shine." Maria, meticulously steaming a gown, added, "It's about showing these young designers that their voice matters, that they don't have to compromise their integrity for fame or fortune." As the day of the show approached, the atmosphere was electric with nervous energy and defiant excitement. Arthur had even managed to secure a few high-profile models, eager to lend their support to an artist fighting for justice. One of them, Anya's longtime friend and a former top model, Serena, spoke passionately. "Anya, I've seen this happen too many times. Talent gets crushed while mediocrity with money thrives. This isn't just your fight, it's our fight for the soul of fashion." On the eve of the show, a final, desperate attempt by Chloe to sabotage Anya's efforts emerged. A torrent of fake negative reviews for Anya's hypothetical past work flooded obscure fashion forums. Anonymous messages were sent to some of the invited guests, claiming the show was a hoax, a desperate stunt by a mentally unstable designer. It was a crude, last-ditch effort orchestrated by Damon, but it still sent a shiver down Anya's spine. "She's panicking," Arthur stated, calm as ever, showing the latest attack to the team. "It means we're getting to her. Ignore it, Anya. Focus on the art. Bella has already forwarded all of this to Elena Vargas. It just adds to Chloe's manipulative pattern." Anya took a deep breath. "She wants to silence us, but we won't let her." The night of the show dawned crisp and cold. Inside the warehouse, a buzz of anticipation filled the air. The crowd was a mix of curious journalists, skeptical buyers, and a surprising number of fashion students, all drawn by the whispers of a rebellion. Elena Vargas, sharp and observant, positioned herself near the front, her notebook ready. Anya stood backstage, her heart hammering. She wore one of her own designs, a simple yet striking black jumpsuit that exuded quiet strength. She took a deep breath, the smell of raw concrete and new fabric filling her lungs. This was it, her moment. Leo gave her a thumbs up. Maria offered a rare, encouraging smile. Isabella squeezed her hand. Arthur walked to the microphone, his imposing figure commanding attention. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice resonating through the vast space. "Thank you for joining us tonight. You have been invited to witness not just a fashion show, but a revelation, a reclamation of artistic integrity." A murmuring went through the crowd. Phones were raised. "Tonight," Arthur continued, his voice ringing with conviction, "we will present to you the true Rebirth collection. The designs of Anya Petrova, an artist whose vision was stolen, her voice silenced, by an individual who believed that influence and privilege could eclipse talent and truth. We are here to prove that authenticity always triumphs over imitation." A collective gasp swept through the room. Then, the music began. It was a haunting, powerful score that perfectly captured the raw emotion of Anya's journey. The first model, Serena, stepped onto the runway, showcasing the structured blazer dress, the very design Chloe had used to open her stolen collection. But here, on this gritty runway, it felt different. It felt authentic. It felt like Anya. As each design was presented, the large LED screens flanking the runway displayed a side-by-side comparison. On one side, Anya's original sketches, time-stamped and dated, detailed to the last stitch. On the other, high-resolution photographs of Chloe's Rebirth collection, demonstrating the undeniable pixel-for-pixel theft. Emails detailing fabric orders from Anya, concept notes in her handwriting, and early pattern drafts flashed across the screens, leaving no room for doubt. Leo had painstakingly curated these visual proofs. The audience was captivated. The murmurs died down, replaced by gasps of shock and whispered exclamations. Journalists furiously typed on their laptops. Fashion critics, usually jaded, watched with rapt attention, their expressions shifting from skepticism to outrage. Elena Vargas's pen flew across her notebook, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Isabella's stunning accessories, subtly echoing Anya's aesthetic, added another layer of authenticity to the presentation, further highlighting the cohesion of Anya's true vision. Each piece told a story of quiet resilience. When the final model walked, Anya stepped onto the runway, a spotlight illuminating her. She didn't smile. Her gaze was steady, unwavering, meeting the eyes of the stunned audience. She stood for a long moment, allowing the truth to settle, allowing her presence to speak volumes. Leo, Maria, Isabella, and Bella joined her, a small, defiant team standing together. The applause was slow to start, then built into a thunderous ovation, not just for the beautiful clothes, but for the courage of the designer and her team. People rose to their feet, cheering, some with tears in their eyes. After the show, a barrage of questions descended upon Anya and Arthur. They calmly presented the meticulously compiled evidence, the legal documents, the expert testimonies from Maria and Leo, and Bella's crucial internal records. Arthur's network sprang into action, disseminating the information to major news outlets simultaneously. Elena Vargas's scathing article, "The Thief Wears Thorn: How Privilege Stifled True Art," went live on Vogue Elite, sending shockwaves through the industry. The story exploded. The fallout was swift and devastating for Chloe Thorne. The very next day, major fashion publications pulled their glowing reviews of Chloe's Rebirth collection, replacing them with scathing articles exposing the plagiarism. Social media, once Chloe's greatest asset, turned into her worst enemy, as a viral hashtag justice for Anya trended worldwide. Influencers who had proudly worn Chloe's stolen designs deleted their posts in a panic, eager to distance themselves from the scandal. Damon, Chloe's publicist, found his own reputation in tatters, his carefully crafted narratives crumbling under the weight of undeniable truth. Atelier Thorn issued a weak, hastily worded statement, attempting to blame the misunderstanding on a junior design team member. But the evidence presented by Anya and Arthur, amplified by Alina Vargas's relentless reporting, was too overwhelming. Mr. Thorn, his reputation in tatters, was forced to make a public apology, acknowledging his daughter's severe misconduct and his own failure of oversight. The weight of his company's legacy, built on decades of integrity, was crumbling before his eyes. Legal actions followed swiftly. Anya, with Arthur's formidable legal team, filed a massive copyright infringement lawsuit against Chloe and Atelier Thorn. Other designers, emboldened by Anya's victory, came forward with their own stories of exploitation, including Isabella, who filed a separate suit. Chloe Thorn was publicly disgraced. Her social media empire crumbled, her brand deals evaporated, and her visionary image was shattered beyond repair. She was stripped of her title as creative director and faced not only multiple lawsuits but also a criminal investigation into fraud and intellectual property theft. The fashion industry, notorious for its cutthroat nature, finally turned its back on her. Damon, too, faced the consequences of his complicity, finding his once thriving PR career in ruins. In the end, Anya won her lawsuit, receiving a significant financial settlement and official recognition of her ownership of the Rebirth collection. But more importantly, she won back her name, her reputation, and her voice. Arthur Sterling, having achieved his own form of restitution, became Anya's mentor and a staunch supporter. With his seed funding, Anya established her own fashion house, Petrova Atelier. Anya's first collection under her own label, a true rebirth, was met with critical acclaim and immediate commercial success. Her designs, still rooted in minimalist elegance, but now imbued with an even deeper sense of resilience and authenticity, became symbols of strength and integrity in an industry often starved of it. She was no longer just a designer. She was an icon, a trailblazer who dared to challenge the status quo and emerged victorious. Petrova Atelier flourished, built on principles of ethical design, fair compensation, and genuine artistic collaboration. Leo became her head of textile innovation, his recycled denim concepts finding a proud place in the collections. Maria, with her unparalleled expertise, oversaw the entire production floor, ensuring every garment met the highest standards of quality and integrity. Isabella, now the head of accessories, brought her unique vision to a global audience, no longer afraid to claim her own creations. Bella, thriving in an environment of honesty, became Anya's trusted studio manager, her sharp organizational skills proving invaluable. Even Serena, the model, became a brand ambassador, using her platform to speak out against exploitation in the industry. Anya made it her mission to nurture young talent, ensuring that no designer under her wing would ever face the exploitation she had endured. She created a mentorship program, bringing in aspiring artists and teaching them not just the craft, but the importance of protecting their intellectual property and standing up for their worth. Remember, Anya often told her proteges, her voice calm but firm, your creativity is your most valuable asset. It's unique, it's yours, and it's sacred. Never let anyone diminish its value or try to take credit for what flows from your soul. This industry, any industry, can be brutal. It can try to make you compromise to dim your light. But you have to hold on to your truth, fiercely and unapologetically. Because when you do, when you stand firm in who you are and what you believe in, that's when your real power truly emerges. That's when you don't just create fashion, you create change. The fluorescent lights of her new atelier, brighter and cleaner than the old, hummed a different tune now, a melody of triumph, resilience, and the sweet, sweet sound of a dream reclaimed. Anya, at the helm of her own destiny, surrounded by a team who believed in integrity as much as innovation, finally understood the true meaning of creation. Not just the beauty of a garment, but the unwavering courage to bring it to life, no matter the cost, and to inspire others to do the same. Her story became a beacon, a reminder that even in the darkest corners of an industry, often blinded by fame and fortune, authenticity, integrity, and the power of a collective voice can always lead to a rebirth.